What's up, GameLeap Nation? I'm your coach, Killer Couch Milfs here. Let's get right into the news. Okay. Now, have you ever gotten like 0 damage with any of your RAZE rockets? Well, there's a reason for it, and a Riot developer responded stating how we're probably gonna get a pseudo RAZE buff, so we're gonna break all that down. Plus, we got a brand new Ask Valorant that breaks down some pretty interesting things that are gonna be coming to the game before too long that you don't want to miss. And then we gotta introduce our brand new game show segment. There's a lot in this video, and I think you're gonna like it, so make sure you watch it to the end, smash that like and subscribe, and go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for in-depth advanced guide. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But we actually have a very special 50% off MILF Valentine's Day sale, so do some favor, go check it out in the links down below if you want to level up your game and climb in Valor with these. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, the first thing that we gotta break down is an instance where C9 Mel, who's a pro player for C9 White, actually got hit directly by a RAZE rocket and managed to walk away living. And this is pretty crazy, but let's roll the clip and then we're gonna talk about what the developers has to say about it. Roll it.
Back.
Out of charges.
Fire!
Revealing
Backside. What?
You just ate that. What?
Oh, this is not backside.
Now, that's absolutely crazy, but it really doesn't seem that insane when you think about how many times you might have survived a RAZE rocket that really probably should have killed you, or you shot one yourself that seemed to not kill the target that you were hitting directly. And of course, this vindicated Sub Rosa stating, some of us are just on a different patch. But all joking aside, this is what the Riot developer had to say about the entire situation, because this is indeed a bug and it's fixable, but let's break it down right here. So Riot News stated this: yes, it's a bug, we can fix it. Games are built on approximations of the real world for performance reasons. Valorant doesn't simulate the physics of a real explosion. This is a bug where our approximation falls short. New followed up stating this: all explosions in the game have an inner radius and an outer radius that can be tuned by designers. Think of the inner radius as the center of the explosion. Players take full damage from the explosion within the inner radius and no damage outside the outer radius. Now, it's gonna be really cool here because he's gonna show us a lot of visuals, and this is gonna kind of explain how explosions in the game work, period, and I think it's really important for all of us to know. New shows us this picture and states this: players within the outer radius that are outside the inner radius take damage that diminishes as they get further away from the center of the explosion. In these screenshots, the inner/outer radius sizes are visualized by the black/scion spears. The first step of computing explosion damage is sweeping the outer radius from any players that could be hit. Players outside the outer radius can be safely ignored as they always take 0 damage. Next, the game checks visibility from the center of the explosion to potential targets. Explosions don't deal damage through walls. If the explosion can't see a player, the player doesn't take damage. The visibility check traces a line from a few different starting points inside the inner radius and tries to find an unobstructed path to the player. In this case, it finds a path, the green line, and the player takes full damage. But in this case, the explosion is blocked by the crates. It fails to find a path to the player and does no damage. You can see all the attempts the game made to find a path visualized as red lines. Had even one of them reached the player would have taken some amount of damage. Then he breaks down why in this specific instance it didn't kill the target. News states this: this approach usually works in very tight spaces like under the pallet in Mel's video. The visibility check fails and the player does not take damage. The pallet effectively eats the explosion. It's a bit more difficult to see, and I circled the failing visibility checks. He finishes up this thread stating this: the fix here is to either adjust the collision settings on the problematic pallet or to adjust the logic driving the visibility checks to better handle small spaces. And more likely than not, this is going to be something that we're going to be seeing pretty soon. So RAZE is essentially going to be seeing something that is akin to a buff where it's just going to be far more reliable and do damage when it actually should be doing damage when you're nearby certain types of surfaces. So at the very least, we know that RAZE is going to be getting some slight buffs down the line, and on top of that, we better understand how explosion damage works in general when it comes to Valorant. But taking a break of all the technical stuff, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our brand new segment, Pog for Pog. Now in this segment, we're going to be breaking down 2 big returning streamers, and we're going to compare them head to head with clips, and you're going to tell me in the comments down below which one you thought was the most entertaining and the most pog or deserving of a play of the game. And this week, we're bringing the battle of the aim gods, because in the first corner, we got Daniel Francis, the farmer himself, DeFran, finally coming back to Valorant after a super long hiatus, and he's still nutty. This guy was one of the first people to climb to the formerly known as Valorant rank way back in the day, and he's a nutty aimer and a huge memer. And in the other corner, we recently have a man who has stepped hard back into the Valorant scene, not only playing the game a lot more, but also analyzing coverage of pro matches on his stream. We got 11-incher Shroud here, the man, the myth, the legend himself, and he's got a nutty clip for us as well. So let's first start off with the DeFran clip, and let's roll it here.
Toxins going up.
One enemy remaining.
See you later, nerds.
Okay, that was pretty good. But let's see what Shroud got in this next clip. Let's roll it.
3 seconds left.
Trying to come out.
I mean, is this guy signed or what?
Yo.
What is that?
Oh man, that was a pretty sick play, but I do love how DeFran just stared death in the face into that boom bot. Both of these clips are pretty sick, but you gotta let me know which one you like the best in the comments down below. And if you're looking for some sick streamers to watch, I definitely suggest both of these in the comments down below. And I'm gonna be doing in-depth breakdowns of some of their insane gameplay on this channel, so smash that like and subscribe so you don't miss it. Now let's move on to our final big story, which is the Ask Valorant February 11th, where the Riot devs answer some of our really important questions that we've had about the game and about future balances and things like that. Now the first big question stated this: last year you mentioned looking into agent-specific keybinds. Do you have any updates? And oh my god, I've been asking for this sheet non-stop, and I know a lot of you have been asking for it as well. It's really frustrating when you have certain characters like Jett and Reyna that you really want to bind many of the abilities in very particular ways, and you don't want that to affect your other keybinds. But Riot responded in this way: while we have no specific timing to give you today, believe us that this is not dropped off our long list of priorities for this year. Our hope is to find a version of this around episode 3. And honestly, that's a little bit disappointing. I can't imagine how hard it is to program this because I just don't know. I don't know how hard it is to put it in the game, but it seems rather easy from a very surface level point of view. Like I said, I'm no expert on the matter, but it's really frustrating that we didn't get this right off the bat. I think that agent-specific keybinds are just a no-brainer, and we should have had it from day one in Valorant, and it's kind of frustrating that we're gonna have to wait pretty damn long until we actually get this in. Let me go to the next big question that one member of the community asked, and it stated: are you considering extending the period for a match remake vote? And this is a really big question because a lot of people are like, hey, this guy DC'd round 3, we can't remake anymore. Do we just lose this game? We have to sit through it all, we have to surrender. Very frustrating. And they stated this: we recognize that there are some problems with the remake system and are actively looking at improvements. We were relatively strict in our initial approach to ensure competitive integrity and avoid any matchmaking abuse, but agree that this has limited the feature's usefulness. Extending the availability window, automating the remake function, in particular fast AFK cases, and creating clarity on when a remake is being initiated versus a surrender are all pieces that we're considering. We still want to maintain competitive integrity as our #1 priority, so our approach will also reflect that. We're hoping to have some changes on this soon, and we'll give you more updates as we can. So basically, they're working on it. As per usual, we don't know when something's going to happen, but we do know that they acknowledge that the current system is not quite where they want it to be, and they're probably going to be increasing the rounds for the futures. But the last question that we have in this video is: would you consider reducing the agent selection time for Spike Rush? A short mode feels like it should have a short start time. And the answer was: we saw the discussion bubble up in some places, but to put it plainly, we're happy with player satisfaction and playtime for Spike Rush, so we're gonna leave the agent select time as is for now. That being said, however, they stated a shorter agent select window might result in significant more dodges, which may, at a micro scale, actually increase the length of the mode for all of you. Also worth noting that the current time is to help for the different load-in times per player, here. So basically, no. And I don't really think that this one's a big deal. But honestly, we didn't really get a lot in this Ask Valorant. Hopefully, the next one is packed with a lot of juicy content. But go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for in-depth advanced guides, VOD reviews, tips, and tricks. And right now, we have a special 50% off sale. So it's never been a better time to climb the ranks of Valorant with ease. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to climb multiple ranks at a fraction of the cost. But thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's all I got for today. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time.